Southwestern Family of Companies welcomes you to the Action Catalyst. Each week, our diversely and amazingly accomplished guests share their insights and inspirations to help us ignite our own. So let's invest attention together to breathe, to reflect and refocus, and decisively defeat that voice we call Mr. Mediocrity. Then let's enjoy moving forward to make a positive difference in our world. Southwestern Advantage is about so much more than just helping your family with education. Our company is the nation's oldest entrepreneurial program, helping college and university students build character and develop the skills they need to achieve their goals in life. These are the kind of skills employers seek that cannot be taught in a classroom. Skills such as problem solving, effective personal communication with people from all walks of life, confidence, attitude, goal setting, and more. Since 1855, the Southwestern Family of Companies has invested in purpose-driven people who are inspired to build principle-guided businesses that impact the world. And for many, that purpose started with a summer at Southwestern Advantage. But this program isn't just about growing the young men and women whom you'll see in the community. It's also about growing your own son or daughter, and the educational resources they will bring to your home are second to none, with learning systems that address the whole child, from preschool to 12th grade. Uniquely designed by top educators, these resources serve the modern needs of today's private, public, and homeschooled students. They're kid-approved, parent-preferred, and teacher-recommended. At Southwestern Advantage and the Southwestern Family of Companies, we invest in building people and inspire them to achieve their goals in life to positively impact the world. Learn more at southwesternadvantage.com/action.
Today, the Action Catalyst will be interviewing Ramsey Solutions' trusted voice on youth and saving money, Anthony O'Neill. Since 2003, Anthony has helped hundreds of thousands of students make smart decisions with their money, relationships, and education. He's a national best-selling author and travels the country spreading his encouraging message to help teens and young adults start their lives off right. His latest book, Debt-Free Degree, launched October 2019. Enjoy this episode.
Welcome to the Action Catalyst. Today we have Anthony O'Neill on the show, and we are so excited to have you, Anthony. Welcome to the Action Catalyst.
Thank you so much for having me on this amazing podcast, Action Catalyst. I am excited to be talking with you for the next few minutes and just sharing my journey and learning more about you as well.
Well, we are connected through a common friend, Dave Ramsey. And I know we have a common passion teaching people, college students, how to graduate debt-free. And Southwestern Family of Companies has been working with college students for 164 years. And I know this is what you're passionate about and have written several books on. And tell me how you have inspired thousands of kids across the country and how that influenced your career.
Yeah. So, man, I grew up with a very Christian faith home and a very strategic home. And so they didn't really have the education when it comes to financial literacy. And so when I went out into the real world out on my own, I made a lot of poor decisions when it came to my money. So before I even turned 19, I was $35,000 in debt, $15,000 in credit card, $10,000 in furniture debt, and even $10,000 in student loans. And here's the funny thing is I didn't even need the student loans because I had a GI Bill and I had a scholarship for the NFL, the National Forensics League, but I wanted all this stuff to just fund my lifestyle. And so with the lack of education, I'm thinking I'm making the right decisions because debt is normal. Student loans is normal to people. And before I knew it, I made some bad decisions in college. I get kicked out of college. I lose my job that's attached to college, and I lose the income to pay for my apartment, to pay my bills. My parents allowed me to come back home because it was like, hey, you made these decisions. And as a man, you have to live with the consequences of them. And so before I even knew it, I was homeless, sleeping in the back of my car, bound into debt. And I'm 19 years old. And so those things is what kind of built the man that I am today. And why I'm so passionate about helping young people is because I want to help them make better decisions today that will impact their tomorrow. I want them to avoid debt. I want them to avoid student loans. I want them to start businesses. I want them to make $100,000 in the summer like what you did, but debt stops that. So that's one reason why I'm very, very passionate about this message that I have.
Wow. So for 14 years, that has been a life journey. Walk us through some of the pivot moments over the last 14 years that have been significant for you as you have been getting to where you are today.
I think the most crucial pivot moment for myself was when I was sleeping in the back of my car. I'm in debt. I'm washing myself. I'm having to wash myself in the back of the car because I didn't have any place to go shower. Monday through Friday, I was using the Boys and Girls Club and the YMCA, but on the weekends, when they were closed, I had to make ends meet and do stuff that I had to do that are very uncomfortable. And so that was a huge pivot moment for myself. And I told myself at that time, Anthony, when you get outside of this car, you're going to fix your life and you're going to help others. And so when I got out, I got a job. I got on a budget, and the very first budget form that I was ever given, 2004, was when my father gave me a Dave Ramsey budget form. And he was like, hey, you're going to get on a budget, you're going to get a job, and you have 6 months to live in the house. And so I just really started focusing on myself. Now, here's the truth, Dustin. I haven't made all the right decisions. I'm not a perfect individual. But when it comes to my money, I've been a lot better. Making better decisions with my money. And that was the most crucial pivot moment for myself. And so I started really getting into nonprofit organizations with young people. I started a company called Young People Succeeding, where I started traveling around the world, teaching young people the truth about credit, the truth about debit cards, the truth about debt, and helping them get into college 100% debt free and how to start thinking like an entrepreneur. Then doors opened up. Dave heard what I was doing across the world and was like, hey, we love what you're doing. We have similar messages. Won't you join our team? And I would probably say that was the second biggest pivot moment of my life, was coming here and joining this amazing team back in 2015, because it was just a great energy between the two. And it's been great since then.
That is wonderful. What a great story and inspirational for everybody listening. I know in your video and your quote that I heard you say is, caliber of my choices will determine the quality of my life.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I've actually kind of remixed it a little bit. Now I say the caliber of our future will be determined by the choices we made today. And that really came from when I was in the back of my car. I was like, hey, the reason why I am here today, the reason why I'm homeless is because of the choices I made yesterday. And so now I'm teaching young people like, hey, you want to retire early, you want to be wealthy, you want to be able to do things with your family that you couldn't do with your family growing up. Well, that caliber, those dreams will be impacted by the choices you're making today. I tell young people this all the time. If you want to be wealthy, if you want to have freedom, then you got to make debt-free decisions today. You need to make decisions today that's going to set you up for that. But if you go up there and rack up $50,000 in student loan debt and rack up a $50,000 car note, you're just setting yourself up for bondage, and you're not allowing yourself the freedom in the future. So when I think of the caliber of all of our future, mine and your future, Dustin, will be determined by the choices we make today. And today I'm making a great choice by talking to you and sharing my vision and hope with your tribe and with your people.
Tell me a little bit about that and how that quote is for the good and the bad, where you can make bad decisions and you can make good decisions. And what would you say today people are making in terms of mistakes, and how can they fix them?
Well, I believe every choice is going to have a good or bad consequence. Let's just be honest. So I believe in good consequences. If I save money today, the good consequence is it's going to get compound interest. I'm going to get a reward for that. If I do not save today, the bad consequence is when I need money down the road, I'm not going to have it. So everything has a consequence, whether it is good or bad. One of the number one things that I'm seeing with today's generation when it comes to bad choices that they're making, again, I have to say this again, it's just racking up debt and not really having a plan for their life, where they want to go. Where there is no vision, that's where people perish. And I believe when people do not have a vision of, I want to have this for my future, I want to be debt free, I want to graduate college debt free, then they start making bad choices because they really don't have a clear vision. And so that's one of the things that I'm seeing wrong with this generation and just really all people. There's no plan for their life and there's no plan for their money.
I love that. That is great. So tell me about your new book, Debt Free Degree, and tell us a little bit about this this new wonderful book that you have coming out.
Debt Free Degree, it really started with my story. Right now, currently, Out of everyone who walks onto a college campus today, only 55% of them will graduate. And then that means that 45% of them that walked onto the campus did not graduate, and they did not graduate and still have student loans. So today we're seeing this, that student loans are becoming normal. It is normal to have the average person with $35,000 in student loan debt. It is normal that right now, nearly 20% of individuals are in default on their student loans. That's about maybe 8 to 10 million people are in default. By the end of this year, we'll have another million. And so every 28 seconds of every single day, someone's getting into default. And for me, that's sickening. That bothers me, that people call this normal, that it is okay to be in bondage. And so I wrote this book for parents, for students, for loved ones, for people who have a passion for the next generation, to help them get into college and through college 100% debt free. So it is a step-by-step process of what it takes to get through college and into college 100% debt free.
Tell me a little bit about how to graduate debt free as a college student.
Yeah. So the number one thing is I always say is we got to take debt off the table. So we're not even considering student loans at all. No student loans, no credit cards, no bank loans, no private loans. Debt is completely off of the table. Number two, we got to have a vision. What do you want to do? Do you want to be a doctor? Do you want to be a lawyer? Do you want to be a hairstylist? Do you want to be a carpenter? Like, what do you want to do? Identify that and make sure that the career is profitable. And then once we identify that the career is profitable, then what we're going to do is identify a school that has that program. But the key three things that I'm always telling young people and their parents is we're going to save money, we're going to find money, and we're going to work. So save, find, and work. And the key things when it comes to saving is, number one, is you're going to go to a college that you can afford. There's one of my favorite quotes that I always say, and young people, they laugh when I say it, is your dream school is an affordable school. An affordable school is a school that you can pay for debt free. This means you're looking up colleges that are maybe a community college, because in the state of Tennessee, this, we can go to first 2 years of college for free. That sounds like a great idea to me. Free school, that's cool. But the stigma is that if you go to community college, you failed in high school. No, to me, is if you go to community college, that means you're smart and you're trying to save money and save your future. So we're going to look up affordable schools. We're going to be looking up grants and scholarships. And then when we talk about finding money, my thing is every single day, I want you spending 1 hour. I want this young person spending 1 hour every single day looking up grants and scholarship. Some parents say, man, that's a lot of time. But I have to fight that argument, because the average student is going to spend 3 to 6 hours on social media. So if we're saying that looking up grants and scholarships for 1 hour is a lot of time, then I'm scared about the 3 to 6 hours they're spending on Instagram and Facebook. And so if we can do that, spend 1 hour every single day, Monday through Friday, treat it like it's a job, and apply for everything that's below $5,000. So go after all the $500, $1,000, $1,500 scholarships. You're going to secure some. But let's just say that you do not secure a lot of scholarships. There's nothing wrong with working. Studies are even showing that if a kid spends on average about 10 to 19 hours a week, not only can they cash flow their community college and an in-state school, but they come off with better grades and just become a better, well-rounded student, period. So those are the main steps that I say, but it all starts with one, we're going to take debt off of the table, and we're going to have a vision.
That is great. Well, in your third step on work, that's an interesting one, which is what tied me in with Dave, is him promoting the Southwestern Advantage summer work program.
Yeah.
And Dave has been a big fan of that for many, many years. And that is an opportunity, one of many. There are other opportunities out there, but I was so thankful Southwestern influenced me to go work hard and pay my way through school. And so that is great that that's what you're doing as well.
When I've done the research, and inside my book, I talk about this, that the average in-state school is going to be anywhere between $6,000 to $11,000. Now, of course, I'm going to recommend you stay home, that you eat at home, that you shower at home, you keep everything at home. So that way they can come work for you. And while they're in school, they're paying for their books with a part-time job, maybe. So what you all are doing is amazing. And I want to thank you all for that, because there's no reason, again, why someone has to borrow money to go to college. I'm going to send more young people your way for sure.
So if I'm a parent and my kids are about to go to school, what advice would you give them to be successful once they're in college?
The number one advice I'm going to suggest to all parents, as early as you can, have the money conversation. Okay, son, daughter, we do not like debt. We are not a fans of debt, and we are not going to teach you to get into debt. So with that being said, let's go off to college. Let's go visit a college. Let's just show you some things. And I got that from one of my friends. She has a elementary school here, and she takes all of her fifth graders on a college tour. And I'm like, well, why did you do that? She said, because I just want to put something in their brains, just put a picture in their brains and let them just dream and vision. And they don't really know what they're seeing. They don't really know what they're experiencing. But by the time they get to the 7th grade, the 8th grade, the 9th grade, they will remember, wow, I actually came here in the 5th grade. So you got to have the money conversation. You got to start exposing them, start asking them about their interests as early as in middle school. But then also, parents, as early as you possibly can. I am blessed and fortunate to have 3 nephews and 1 little niece. And within the first week of each one of them being born, we opened up a 529 or ESA. For my family, we had to open up a 529 because as a family, we're making more than 6 figures. But the average person can open up an ESA, which is educational savings account, if your family household is less than 110. And that's a great way to start saving for your future as well for that college experience. So start having the conversation as early as you possibly can. But once we get into high school, this is when you have to hit them with my favorite quote. The caliber of your future will be determined by the choices you make right now. Your freshman year grades play a crucial role in you securing scholarships, you getting into your dream school, you getting into whatever you want to get into, whether that's community college, trade school, whatever the next process is. So in my book, I literally lay out what they need to be doing, what classes, AP classes, what does that need to look like their freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, and senior year. But I'm also stressing as well, as early as possible, they're looking up grants, they're looking up scholarships, they're getting some volunteer hours. I'm teaching them how to track it. But that junior year is crucial. An ACT and SAT score is probably, we spend a lot of time in my book talking about that, how if you can just get those scores up just a little bit, it can be the difference between a partial scholarship and a full ride. I've talked to several students that they just raised their scores by 3 points and they got a full ride. And the power of negotiating. Like I talk about that as well. Like you can call the school and say, hey, you know what? This school offered me free books. Can you all match? And they're not going to lose a good kid because the other school gave them free books. So there's so many things. But the key thing here is you can start as early as you can.
That is great advice. I love that. And you mentioned this just now, but I would love to hear more of a thought around giving. Mm-hmm. And you talk a lot about how you are passionate about giving. Mm-hmm. And so tell us about how you give, and then also tell us about how you recommend other people to give.
I'm very big on giving. I am a big giver to my local church, my local community. I even sponsor kids to go off and I pay for their first year of books. I do that every single year. And I also buy school supplies as well for high school students who are less fortunate. I believe it is always best to give than it is to receive. And so when we have that giving spirit, it just makes you feel like you've accomplished something that nothing else can make you feel like. And so I recommend every young person, everybody who's listening to this podcast, to be a giver, be a cheerful giver, and don't expect nothing in return. And watch something will come in return because of your heart.
That is great. Would you also say a minimum of 10%, or do you give any specifics around that?
I give 10% to my local church. That is the very first thing that I always do. So I agree with you on that part, 10%. Sometimes I do stretch myself and give over and beyond that to my local church or to a nonprofit. I'm very big on helping the less fortunate in the minority community. So I give a lot to areas like that. But I do agree, 10% is a great place to start. Give, spend, and save. So we're going to give up front. We're going to save for our future, and then we're going to spend. We're going to we're going to buy some nice things and pay some bills. But I'm always giving away first. I'm always saving for myself, and then I'm spending.
Great advice. And the earlier you can learn that, the better. And that is so wonderful that you're able to do that through your books and your messaging. And we appreciate that so much. So our listeners are thinking to themselves right now, wow, I know I need more of this. My kids need more of this. Where can they find you? How can people access you and hear more content like we're talking about today?
Yeah, they can go to my website, anthonyoneal.com or daveramsey.com. If you want the book, you can definitely check out either one of those websites. But at the same time, you can go to any bookstore like Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes & Noble, any local bookstore around your area will have the book. And to learn more about me, I always tell parents, hey, you go to my website, but then send your kids to my Instagram account, Anthony O'Neill, because I'm teaching the same content, but I'm flipping it so that they can like it, but also learn something at the same time. But my website has a lot of great information, a lot of free resources from Scholarship Tool. You can look up scholarships to even a college calculator to see how much you need to save to go to college, and just a lot of great resources. So anthonyoneal.com is a great place to start.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Anthony, for being on the show today. It was wonderful hearing your life story and then the life's work and what you're being able to do and impact the world in a positive way, help students graduate debt-free, and inspire people to live a better life. So thank you for being on the show today on the Action Catalyst.
Thank you so much for having me again, and grateful to be on it.
If you enjoy this podcast, please make sure to subscribe. To stay updated on everything that the Action Catalyst is up to, make sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Action Catalyst Podcast and Twitter at Catalyst_Action. Thanks for listening.